So cannabis producer Aphria is acquiring a German medical cannabis outfit in an all-cash deal. It's not one of these cannabis industry's paper transactions. It's worth about $37 million Canadian, with another 35 million Canadian following. So we're talking potentially here well north of $60 million. We're joined by the CEO of Aphria, Vic Neufeld. It's great to see you.
Great for having me, Andrew.
It's not your first investment in Germany, but what are you doing this time?
So let me make sure the listeners understand. When we acquired Nuvera, Germany was the key to them and key to us and why the acquisition was made. And they had already developed a roadmap for a perfectly integrated business model in Germany. Mm-hmm. CC Pharma was already in the dialogue stage. We took it over and we commenced. And truthfully, though, it was a 6-month journey to get to where we are today and finally closing it. But they provide us the conduit with drug establishment licensing to hit 13,000 pharmacies running. And so this it's a real business. Over 200 million euros of annual revenue, solid EBITDA. And I think if we did the math, we paid just north of a 4 times multiple. So just from a pure business fundamentals, it was a great acquisition, but now they can move our cannabis strategy forward.
And of course, your market cap still, well, $4.2 billion. And so it's not a huge transaction in that sense for you. And so just remind us, where is Germany at on medical pot?
So just recently they deferred again. I think sometime end of November now is the next communicated date where the government's going to be accepting applications for in-country cultivation, and we're very well situated. We're very positive and have full expectations of being one of the successful candidates.
You were a bit frustrated by the delay. I mean, this naturally fits and starts. It's a new industry. Germans known for their bureaucracy and their caution, but I guess once they set their minds to things, they do get it done.
So, yeah, frustration because Germany was one of the key pillars of the Nuvera acquisition. And as you may recall back then, we were punished by certain investors. Short-term sightedness, it is what it is, but we've recovered. And now this really adds and kind of completes, together with everything else we've done in Germany, we're aligned with strategy.
Steam Whistle, David George Koch, telling us that they're leaning towards bringing out a pot-infused beverage. What are you doing? Have you been in talks with any beverage makers?
No, Andrew.
No?
We remain in dialogues with many different industry global giants in different spaces. Beverage, absolutely. But beverages take the form of beer, wine, spirits, juices, recovery drinks, the whole gambit. You have to understand what Aphria has built and where we've come in terms of our strategies and building on solid foundation and the credibility and the strength of management. We are very desirous, if I could say that. And so, yeah, we've had conversations with many entities, and beverage is part of it. My R&D team is well advanced, not just water solubility of innovation of cannabis ingredient. We're talking also now looking at the bioabsorption levels. It's one thing to drink water and you don't see it, but is it truly efficacious? You know, people aren't talking about the true science of it. So we're well down the path on many fronts when it comes to beverages in total.
So you have been talking to beverage people?
Yes.
Any progress? We haven't seen you do a deal yet.
No deals. Andrew, when Aphria makes the ultimate decision to get into bed with a strategic partner, we want to make sure that they bring the brands that we can leverage together with who we are, what our vision is, and our science. And science also means ingredient science. So, yes, there's a lot of conversations happening with many players, as there are other licensed producers. It'd be foolish to think that we're the only one. But we are in a very good position on an understanding where we go. And it's a global footprint we're looking for. You know, the Canadian medical was our journey beginning, recreational October 17th. It's the global footprint that we started about 2 years ago. That's where the real home run gets hit. It's not if, but when will Germany go recreational and country by country. And you want a partner that has brand leveraging, strengths in market, regulatory, GR, et cetera. So
yeah, that's very interesting. Bloomberg had a story a few weeks ago. The real business here may be medical globally. All right.
Absolutely.
Jeff Sessions is gone as Attorney General. Your investments in the States were kind of a burr under the saddle. You got rid of them because the optics and TMX was cautious. Do you think his departure will hasten federal legalization or at least federal decriminalization in the States?
Well, I'm going to add something. There's another Sessions who no longer is in Washington, and that's the representative from Texas. Between the two of them, they were conveying this fear-mongering of it's a gateway to drug abusiveness. So he lost his seat in Texas to the Democrats, and Jeff Sessions was asked to move on. With those two roadblocks removed, and knowing where the U.S. CBD hemp farm bill is, bipartisan support, knowing that we have now, 33 states medical, 7-hour legal for recreational. When you look at the movement, it's being pushed by patients and consumers. Canada was different. The government pulled us into it. The Conservative Supreme Court back in 2014, Prime Minister Trudeau. In the U.S., it's being pushed this way by patients, medical, consumers, adult use, and these are all voters too, right? So at the end of the day, you have to look at the whole landscape. So we think this midterm election is extremely positive for any company that has vision, commitment, and an understanding of strategic U.S. assets.
Yeah, I see Pete Sessions was kicked out or defeated by a Democrat in that Dallas area. Yeah. Just finish up with supply. Now, you, according to Claris, were one of the only two producers to have products in all 7 provinces' online stores. Right. Have you had any difficulty getting product that the provinces want to them?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm very clear in my messaging. We've had supply chain issues as an industry. I may be the first, maybe the only CEO that conveys this message, but trust me, there are a lot of complications when you take a 5-lane highway and try to move it down into a 1-lane and there's crash and burns. We've had situational issues, supply chain. We're unraveling many as we speak and have made great progress, but we're still not exceeding our expectations. And I want a footnote here. The provincial regulators, every province is doing their darndest. This is not a situational issue where somebody should be pointing a finger at the provinces. It's very little on their shoulders, all on our shoulders. For example, supply chain. We've got 2 machines that would rapidly advance our packaging. We're waiting for Health Canada. So I'm not throwing
the feds.
The feds. Yeah. I'm not throwing Health Canada under the bus. They don't have the staffing yet. It takes 6, 9, 12 months to train a new inspector. So a lot of proper planning, if we could rewrite the script, needs to be more cohesive.
Vic, I hope you come back soon because there's so much more to explore.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much. Vic Neufeld, the CEO of Aphria.